Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now May 12th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that as of right now, they are currently in a position where they're really trying to evolve the franchise to become as successful as the MCU. That's exactly what both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek want for the Star Wars franchise, is to really make it match up against the MCU, which, by the way, has been a consistent success ever since 2008, when it was introduced by Jon Favreau's Iron Man 1. Now, looking at everything with Star Wars, we have TV shows, animated TV shows, we got new Star Wars films on the way, and all of this combined, along with the books, novels, and comics, is really going to be the new Star Wars universe in general. And that's exactly what Dave Filoni, George Lucas, Jon Favreau, Bob Chapek, and Iger are focusing on, is this new universe that's going to be far larger than the old one that we got in the 90s and the early 2000s. The thing about Star Wars right now, however, is that the community is very divided, and they want to actually reunite the fans. They want a fandom that is more grouped together rather than separated or divided in order to make it a very strong franchise moving forward. Now, with that being said, of course, Bob Iger, he's only helping out as, of course, the CEO of Disney. He's not going to be the CEO permanently over at Disney. He's actually just helping out during this crisis with the new CEO, Disney CEO Bob Chapek. Now, on top of all of this, what's really intriguing is that since the release of The Rise of Skywalker, both Disney and Lucasfilm have been pretty much developing their new Star Wars trilogy of films as well as the new Star Wars universe all together, where it's noted that George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are all working together in order to create this new universe, which is also set to include numerous retcons to the prequels, originals, and even the sequel trilogy era. It's explained, however, that these retcons won't be unveiled until sometime next year in 2021 and other years throughout this decade. Lucas is said to actually have a plan in place with Disney CEO Bob Chapek in order to restart The Rise of Skywalker in multiple ways for the fans to enjoy around the world. Now, it's noted that Lucas has a plan to develop many retcons for the sequel trilogy that are going to change how fans view the films. Lucas, Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau all have plans in place in order to create major retcons, mainly for The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, and even The Rise of Skywalker at that. Lucas is said to be involved with Disney CEO Bob Chapek in order to make plans to release the JJ cut for, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, as well as a different cut of The Last Jedi, both of which they aim to release on Disney Plus sometime in 2023. Now, additionally, many books and comics are being created as we speak that are going to undo certain aspects of the sequel trilogy and major moments of the sequels that were not well received by the fans and will be reimagined in a different light by George Lucas. Now, it's known that Disney wants the Star Wars brand to become as successful as the Marvel Cinematic Universe by the mid-2020s, with a combination of new films and new TV shows on Disney Plus and more. However, Lucas is working hard with Filoni and Favreau in order to create a better future for the Star Wars brand so that fans can be more positive with the direction that they are going in. Lucas is actually restarting aspects of the sequel trilogy in general and will also have to do with this digitally, completing some of the unfinished deleted scenes from The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, so that they are capable of becoming part of the new cuts of the films sometime in 2023, where in 2021 the majority of books and comics will undo many aspects of Luke Skywalker and Emperor Palpatine and even Rey's parentage in different ways. Now, they're actually going to go in more depth with the Star Wars universe for fans to actually look at all of this in a different way, which is the big plan, and this plan by Disney is to regain many of the lost fans from the sequel trilogy era, so that Star Wars can really live on and become a stronger franchise than ever before by creating authentic stories and, of course, to make it more successful. Lucas is also involved with other TV shows like Kenobi, Mandalorian, and even the planned Rebels sequel series and the Rise of Skywalker animated sequel series. So, what's really interesting about this, if we look at Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas, I like to call them FFL, alright? Filoni, Favreau, Lucas, alright? These are the three guys that are really trying to make Star Wars happen correctly. And when we look at everything related to Lucasfilm, you know, I've said this before in the past many times, Kathleen Kennedy did not know exactly how to treat the Star Wars brand, because let's face it, she's not a Star Wars fan, and even if you're not a Star Wars fan, at minimum, if you're running Lucasfilm as the head of Star Wars, you really should know some of the core lore of the franchise at the very minimum, at least in my eyes, which is exactly why Disney wants Jon Favreau to really take over and replace Kathleen Kennedy, because he's got experience as a producer, he knows the business model of handling films and stuff around those lines, and he can really handle the creative end as well. So he's the perfect fit, I think, even more so, and mind me if you guys disagree with me on this, but I think maybe even more so than Dave Filoni. Now, Dave Filoni, yes, I do believe that he would be amazing as the president of Lucasfilm, but I'm not quite sure if he can handle the business end. Favreau at least has a lot of experience of handling, certain projects on the business end of things, so I could see him handling that. On a creative scale, I do think that Dave Filoni has more experience than Favreau with Star Wars. Jon Favreau is just experimenting and really kind of getting that going right now. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.